types, I would suggest that you leave those in place and not change those. I'll cover those shortly. The submission types, if you want group work and such, that can be defined in here for this specific assignment. However, remember, in order to use the group option, you have to have defined the groups in a course, and that's a different tutorial for a different time. Under submission settings and notifications, here is where you can set notifications. So the default here is that you'll be notified only about late submissions. So somebody submitted it on Wednesday when they were supposed to submit it on Tuesday, you'll get an email notification for that. I'll suggest that you keep that on, and then also notify graders about submissions. That's an option where you'd be getting an email every time a student submits a paper, and probably that'll be too much email, so leave that as no, as stated there. Then under grade, here is where we can specify how we are going to grade this activity. In this case, we are going to grade it by using points, and the points are going to be the maximum number of those points. It's going to be 100. Now, my suggestion would be that if it's small reflection papers, 1 or 2 pages, maybe grade them against 20 points or 30 points. But if it's a research paper, then grade it against 100 points. The higher the number of points, the more flexibility, obviously, you have in grading that particular assignment. There are also mechanisms here to use additional scales, but for the sake of simplicity, we are going to stick to the points for now. Then there are additional grading methods where you can use direct grading, and that's basically you looking at the paper and you're going to make up your mind that this is what grade the student deserves for that paper and such. Then there are also options here to use a rubric and other methods as well, which will cover them in a different tutorial. So for most papers, you'll use simple direct grading, and then under grade category, this is important. Since we configured the grade book earlier in this course, now we have the various categories that we defined in the grade book based on the syllabus. So that's why I'd recommend that you go back to that video to configure the grade book and how that is done to understand this better. But here we specify that that's assignment 1. It belongs under research projects, let's assume. And then we scroll down here, leave everything else alone. You could restrict access here for students based on conditions and such, but if you're starting with e-learning, I would not mess with the access restrictions and such. Then under activity completion, this means that the students can mark this activity as completed after the students have submitted something to it. So basically they have done their part of their job, and now it's up to you to grade it. So basically for them, they have completed this activity. Then we click here under Save and Return to the course, and then here we have the paper. We can renumber it if we wanted to. And at this point, the students and you can click on it, and these are the details for it. This is what I had copied and pasted. This is that document, or it can be a rubric or additional documentation and such for the students and such. Now the students on their end, they will have an upload button right down here. So here is the student view from their point of view. So they'll be able to click on this assignment and read all the various directions and requirements here, and then right below they'll have an option to upload the assignment. It will also tell them the time and date, how much longer they have to complete this paper. Of course, they will not have a year here, but they'll click on Upload Assignment, and then they'll scroll down again. They'll have to acknowledge that this is their own work, and then this is the online text option where they can post a link to their Google Doc if they're using Google Docs. Or down here, this is where they can upload the paper, submitting it to the system. So they'll do something similar to that, and then they'll press Save Changes, and then they will see that they uploaded the file at this time, and they can preview it and even edit it if necessary. So that's the student view on their end. And this is the faculty view here on our end. Now, my suggestion would also be that you can probably differentiate the various assignments here by adding a little label in the course page. So if we go here under Add an Activity and then scroll down under Label, you can click on Add. And you can use one of the styles here if you want. Maybe that's slightly too large, so you can use the small heading. And then press Save and return to the course. Now the other thing that you can do here is you can move these activities around. So if I wanted to move this Assignments option right above, I can simply drag it up, and now the word Assignments, and then I will be listing my assignments here as well. Notice you can also hide a specific assignment if you don't want to show various activities in the course to the students, or your lecture notes or whatever until the class is over. You can hide specific activities within the unit. And then to show it, you click on Edit Settings again, choose Show, and then that will be visible again. If you want to hide the whole unit, you can simply click on Edit, choose Hide Topic, and that hides all the activities from the students. And then you can show it by clicking on Edit and choose Show Topic. And of course, this was a little extra for the assignments, for configuring assignments in e-learning, with an extra tip here with how you hide activities and how you show them as well. One other thing, in case I forget and such, you can also duplicate activities by choosing the option here, Duplicate, and it will make a copy of this specific activity with all the various settings, and you can just change the content or requirements within the description for that activity. If for some reason you had to modify something within this activity or this assignment, just click on Edit here, choose Edit Settings, and then make the modifications that you want from here. And then make sure you save the changes and go back. The other thing that you can do is click on the assignment, click on the gear icon, choose Edit Settings, and that will take you to the same page to make the modifications. So that's how you create an assignment and how you customize it and such. This probably will be the majority of the items that you'll be entering in the course page and in e-learning. In the next video, it will be on how to grade student work and provide feedback on student assignments. In this session, I'm going to demonstrate how to grade student assignments or student papers in e-learning. So earlier we configured an assignment, and the students are going to complete it, and then they are going to submit the paper electronically back to us. Now, to grade this assignment, we can click here on the assignment itself, and it will see the description and all the various requirements and such. And if we scroll further down, there's an option here for View All Submissions. This will give us a listing of all the students in the course here, along with the submissions and the papers that they have submitted for us to grade. Now in this case, notice it tells us that the student has submitted it and the time when they submitted it, as well as the document that they posted as well. Now to grade it, we click here under Grade, and then the system is going to give us a preview of the document that they submitted, of the assignment, here on the left. And then on the right-hand side, we'll have the link where we can download the original that they uploaded. Then we have the option here where to enter the grade, and also the option to put in feedback comments and simply type our notes in here and such after we posted our grade. Notice there are a couple options here for recording audio feedback and even video feedback as well for grading the student paper. And further down we have also here the feedback files that in case where we downloaded the student original paper and we wanted to use Microsoft Word for commenting and such, then we could upload that paper back to the student by dragging and dropping it in this area or browsing to add it from here. Now, to preview the student paper, in some cases you'll see the front page will have content in there, but if you don't see the front page, go to the next page and you'll be able to preview each page of that specific student paper. And this is one of the pages. Now notice you have these tools here on the top, and this is inline grading. So you're basically grading and making comments in the document. Now what happens is that every time the student submits it, even a Word document, the system is converting it into a PDF document behind the scenes and allowing you to make any of these modifications. So in this case, you can use any of these tools, the commenting tools. So basically you're writing or dragging a little box here, or however big you want to make that box, and you can put in there let's assume, and then notice that they become these little call out boxes all over the place. Additionally, you can use the pen tool here to circle items and make notes this way. So you're combining or moving from one to the other, and then you can just put in there a little comment. Notice you can also draw up various specific other boxes here as well, and go through that paper this way. By the way, if you needed to delete one of those comments or one of those objects and such, you'd have to choose here the little arrow icon and then go and select that object, and then notice there's a little delete button in the bottom right. Some faculty have trouble deleting stuff, so that's how you do it, to remove a component that you selected and such. Now once you have graded the paper, you'd scroll down here on the right hand side and you'd say, okay, this will be 89 points, and you can put additional comments in here. Say C It is best to put constructive comments, of course. The students are trying to learn from their mistakes, and that's what will be beneficial for them. So sufficient and impactful feedback and helpful feedback would be beneficial in this case. And then once you have posted your comments, you can press Save Changes or Save and show the next student. In the case where you're grading the paper and you want to download those papers in Microsoft Word and such, you can simply click here on the link for the assignment. Once it's downloaded, then go into the Review tab and then add various comments in there as well. Then once you're done with this paper, you're going to save it where you can find it. And then to upload it back to the student, then you can go here under Feedback Files, and you can upload it by using the Add button and browsing for it. And then choosing Upload File. So in this case, the student will receive a graded paper with comments. But you don't need to do both these options. So you can either do the inline commenting here on the left, like we did earlier, or you can do the Word option and then attaching the feedback file. Now that you posted the comments and such, you can navigate to the next student either from the drop down here or choose Save and Show the Next, and it'll show the next student. Or you can go back to the course, to the assignment here, and view all submissions. And then in this area, notice that the grade has been posted for this specific student, and then you can grade the next student's work. Now in this case, due to the testing environment here, no others have submitted a paper and such. Now, if you have a long list of students and you graded papers on regular paper and such, and you just want to enter the grades, there's an option here where you can enable right below the grade option to have a little box where you post the grades. And to enable that option, you have to go down here to the very bottom. So if you're under the assignment, so here's the assignment details. You basically clicked on the assignment, you saw the details. You scroll down to view all submissions, and then if you scroll further down, you can choose and enable here quick grading. Quick grading will allow you to simply post the grades for the students in your course. Let's say he submitted on paper here and he got 87, and then this one got 78, and this one got 23. Now you can choose to save. You have to save them, otherwise the system is not going to track them. So make sure anytime you're doing this, press Save Quick Grading Changes, and now those grades will be posted in the grade book. Notice you can also change how many assignments to show per page, so you can choose to show all of them. In that way you have a listing of all the students in the course listed in this page when you're viewing all the assignments. In some cases, you might also want to download, if you're using Microsoft Word for the comments and such, you might want to download all the papers for this assignment instead of doing them one by one. You can go here under Grading Action, and then you can choose to download all submissions. And that will create a zip file, and then you're going to extract them and work with each file individually. So that's a little bit more advanced and such. But this is the process for grading the assignments and such. Then if you go back to the course here, course homepage, you can also go to the grade book, and you'll notice that the grades at this point have been posted and trickling down from that specific assignment. So keep in mind, when you do the grading, do it from the assignment itself, and then they'll trickle down to the grade book rather than coming and entering them directly on the grade book from here, because in this case you're overriding those grades. Also, another tip would be, if a student has not submitted their work, give them a 0 right there, and that will be posted as 0 in the grade book, and it will cause them to panic so that they will have to do the other assignments and such. Remember that by default, when a student does not have a grade for an assignment, they are not penalized in the system. So the best practice there is, even though there are some modifications you can make to count those as zeros, it's best to always assign a value to the student's work. And that's grading.